No.
Yeah.
We wrestled in the adjustment because the school would let us wrestle, and they were like, you can wrestle.
Would you wrestle on? Well, you brought the mats over.
This, we told the school we bought the mats, we're taking them.
Yeah.
And the school was like, well, they're in our building, and the club was like, we don't care, we do it for them,
Yeah.
and we need to do what we do. That was a big mess. So then, that we have the insurance, or is that right? Also, we have that. Okay, either way, then maybe it's more.
I was up at St. Joe's most of the day, but
I guess, okay, because the Armory doesn't make us do that. We are able to participate.
I'm still gonna
We
have to
the
remember
federal side
that
waiver that we're not responsible.
Excuse me?
we don't
Your
have
own
to
insurance
amend
is
the budget, do we?
So that's how we do
I'm
it.
not sure.
I get it. all.
From the book of
Yeah,
the folks.
yeah. Almost need a
I
little
got
blanket.
4 reasons, so we did it.
Mhm.
So, yeah. And you never know if they're gonna be here.
Well, people can say all they want until something happens.
Right.
And then it's dead.
Oh,
But
yeah,
I
so it will
need
be,
to know
is that gonna be?
Goes out, then we're
You
gonna
never
do
know.
our waiver.
So you require us to have insurance.
So just so you know.
You send it.
If I come off, that's what I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
How much do you charge?
I think we should start the meeting, is everybody ready?
Yep.
Start the meeting, right?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Ron?
Dan?
Here.
Nicole?
Here.
Dave? Here. Carolyn?
Here.
Deb?
All right, clerk's report, notifications and correspondence.
Okay, bear with me, I have to look that up. We got a notification from the Dempsey Law Firm that there's a price increase.
185 to 200 an hour.
how much?
185 to 200. And he used to be at 200, and then he went to a new company, went down to 185, now he's at 200, which he's cheap.
Yeah, that's for a lawyer.
Is that effective 1/1?
January 1,
Yeah.
yeah. And then, let's see, I received 2 declarations of non-candidacy for Dan Gatto and Carolyn Lupitz. And that's the extent of my correspondence and notifications.
Okay. I think we're gonna, can we skip this round and do the insurance?
Yep.
I'll make a motion to move the insurance renewal discussion number 4 up to under 3, under clerk's report, before the checks.
Okay, need a second.
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 All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Corey, you wanna take the, I'll let you go through your proposal.
See a few new faces and a few familiar ones. I'm Corey Hoffman from Marshall Insurance. You've trusted Marshall Insurance, Continental Western, to handle the town and fire department's insurance needs since 2016. I believe that Continental Western has done a good job in handling the claims that you've had. I trust that our office has done a good job of providing professional advice and service during that time. And we certainly appreciate that relationship. And those relationships have value and have meaning. So, tonight you have 2 different competing proposals to consider, one for our office and one for the board and group. John had asked me to kind of compare the 2. for you, what I saw as the differences and between the two. And I did that, in the format in which I did that was on our proposals. I hand wrote in the differences, so where the Horton Group was at compared to where we were at on our proposals. So I think you all should have a copy of those. We have one for the fire department and one for the township.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. I even pointed out when they were better than us, so, I mean, I tried to be as honest as possible here, so. Rather than go through the proposal item by item though, and we
No,
can
we
do
don't
that.
have time for that.
Well, and I know time's probably an issue here, so, I think what I'd rather do is point out what I see as some of the main differences. And then I can certainly take any questions that
Okay.
you may have. So I think starting out, well, first of all, let's get this out of the way first. There is a price difference. Their prices, their premiums are lower than our combined premiums. But not by a lot, because when you factor in the cyber policy, the cyber insurance, which you have, it renews at a different date. But when you factor that in with premium through our office and what they're offering, the difference is less because their premium for the cyber is higher. Also, John, I don't know, did you see an email that I sent earlier today, John?
Yes.
Okay, and I don't know if that was able to
I
get
sent
sent.
it out.
yeah, we got it.
Okay, so the broker that we use to access the policies through Continental Western, they were working on a quote through a different carrier for us, a comparison quote as well. Turned out that carrier, that company, determined that they just could not compete on price-wise, so they withdrew their quote. But the broker was able to get some pricing concessions out of Continental Western off the fire department policy premium. So that got reduced. The way I'm looking at this, our combined premiums, including the cyber, are $22,139.83, versus the Horton Group's premiums are $19,086. There's a little over $3,000 difference.
So would you repeat those, please, Cory?
Okay. So our, yes, so our combined premiums, including the cyber policy, are 22, for the fire department and the town, we have two separate policies. $22,139.83.
Okay.
The Horton Group, their proposed premium, including their cyber premium, is $19,086. So I get a difference of $3,053.83. Okay, so they're a little bit less starting out. But let's go through some of the coverage items, differences. One of the big things I see here is, our policy is explicitly providing coverage for the Fall Fest celebration, the detonation of fireworks, liquor liability for the serving of alcohol. I don't see any reference to that at all on the Horton policy. If somebody else did and I missed it, please let me know, because I did not. I think if we would add it, if they, let's say, would have to go out and get separate policy, special event policy to cover those items, my best guess is you're looking at least a couple grand minimum premium probably. So that's a big issue. Another issue is, one of the larger ones here is they're offering actual cash value coverage on the town autos. I'm going to turn to our town proposal quickly here now and get to the auto part. And I can tell you and explain the difference here. So I'm in the automobile page here on our town proposal. So we provide designated value coverage. So basically, you tell us how much you want to replace the vehicle that you have, how much you want to cover it, to replace it with whatever you want to replace it with. That's what our designated values represent. The proposal from the Horton Group is offering actual cash value, which is traditionally how auto insurance is done. Right? If we total our car, we get paid what it's worth. And that's how the Horton Group proposal would work for you here too. But contrast that with what you have now. Let's say, for example, the 2006 Chevy. I don't know what that's worth. Anybody have a rough idea what that's worth? I have no idea. But you get paid whatever that value is. I don't know if it's $10,000, it's $15,000. I don't know what it's worth. But That's what you'd get paid on the Horton Group proposal if there was a total loss on that vehicle. If you stay with our policy, you're gonna get paid $50,000, and you can go out and replace that with something new or relatively new. Same thing with the other vehicles too, there's the 2010 International Plow Truck. Again, they're only gonna pay you what that Horton Group policy would only pay you what that's worth if there's a total loss on it. Our policy would give you $150,000 to replace it with something new or relatively new. And you can adjust those values too if you want to go with something different on our policy. If you don't feel these values are enough, you can increase them. So that's another fairly significant difference. Another one is, I'm going to stay on the town policy here.
Just going back to
Yeah, go
that,
ahead.
going back to that,
Mm-hmm.
do we have any idea? Did you, I'm just asking, I'm not, it wasn't, it's not your job to tell us this.
Yeah.
But did you have any ideas of actual cash values on those?
Well, I don't know what the actual cash values are.
Okay.
No.
Hey, what did we pay for that plow truck? The Freightliner.
Freightliner?
Yeah, the 2017, that wasn't that long ago. Wasn't that
No, it's,
47, something like that?
Well, it's 6 years old, 17.
Yeah, wasn't it 140 something?
I believe it was, yeah.
Okay.
But the value now, today,
Yeah,
replacement value might only be 100.
yeah.
Well, actual cash value, mean what it's worth, right?
Right.
Yeah, yeah, right.
If you get
Right. So,
Not
I mean,
replacement
if that's,
value, I said replacement.
yeah, actual cash value. So if that is in fact what it's worth, if you went with the Horton policy, you get paid the $100,000, if it's worth that still.
Mm-hmm.
On our policy, you get the 142.
Okay.
And if you think, and obviously, if you paid 147 for a new,
Mhm.
in
It's right in there
2017,
someplace.
okay,
Yeah.
costs have only gone up from there, obviously.
Right.
If you would want to replace it with another new vehicle, you know, you could increase this value in our policy, and that's what you'd get, so, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna stay on the town policy, then I'm gonna back up, let's see, 2 pages to inland marine. This is where we cover our mobile equipment. So the Horton Group, the values on your mobile equipment are much lower in our policy. And this is replacement cost coverage now. For example, the grader, the Champion grader, they're providing a limit of $271,000. We're at $350,000. On the excavator.
What was that value that they're offering?
271.
Okay.
I think I can tell you where that came from, because last year, we had some discussion here about values and what they ought to be and what we wanted to insure some of our equipment for. And the board did make a decision last year to increase the values on these items. So I think what Horton Group was working with is probably values from the year before,
Previous.
prior year, yeah. But we had increased them, so we're at 350 on the grader, they were at 271. We're at 180,000 on the excavator, we're at 300,000. And again, this is replacement cost coverage. On the John Deere tractor and attachments, they're at 99,875, we're at 180 on this stuff. So obviously you get paid a lot more on our policy through Continental Western here if you have total loss to some of these equipment items and some of the autos, the vehicles, in the town policy here. They also don't even include the John Deere riding mower as a scheduled item. In looking at their policy, what they could do though is they have a limit of unscheduled tools and equipment. They could cover it under that. But they only pay up to $10,000 for anyone under that. And right now, the John Deere tractor and John Deere lawnmower, is valued at $11,720. So, you know, they would only pay up to $10,000 for that if there's a total loss on that. So,
And that would be questionable if it was included under there, correct?
well, they did not schedule it on their quote. It could be covered under their unscheduled tools. I mean, it could be covered there.
Yeah.
But they only pay up to $10,000 for anyone
Okay.
under that. And if we're gonna cover items under that, then that reduces the limit they have available for other unscheduled. we have a $75,000 limit for unscheduled as well. Let's see, another item, let's see. If we go to the fire department policy, it's a similar situation here, where you schedule something or not. I'm going on to the inland marine here on the fire department policy. They do not schedule any, so we have two ATVs and a snowmobile scheduled here in the fire department policy, and it is replacement cost coverage, and the limits, I know these limits have been adjusted up over the years. I don't remember if we did last year or the year before, to be honest with you. We've got 10,000 on each one. Again, this is replacement cost coverage. You can go replace them with brand new. And we can adjust these values if you want. They did not schedule any of these on their inland marine coverage. But again, they have unscheduled tool and equipment limit. And these items could all be covered under that. And they do pay up to 10,000. So they could all be covered up to 10,000 on their policy. Then if we're doing that though, then we're reducing the limit that they have available for other unscheduled tools. So, yeah. And again, we have a $75,000 limit there for unscheduled tools. Property values, they're offering in some cases higher limits on some of our buildings than we are. Now it's blanket coverage, so we lump everything together, add up all the values, and you have one blanket limit is how the coverage works. But, you know, that blanket limit still needs to be within, we're using 90% co-insurance, it still needs to be within 90% of what it would take to replace all your property. Otherwise, we could be penalized if we have a loss for being uninsured. I think our current limits are pretty good, but, for example, they're offering, and I'm bouncing around here, I'm bringing up to the town hall. Sorry to do that to you.
Back to the town house.
Yeah, back to the town hall, property in the town house. So, again, we have blanket coverage, but for example, on the garage office building next door, and, you know, Gladfelter, that's the program that they are offering through the Horton Group. They've assigned $660,000 to replace the garage slash office building. So that seems a bit extreme to me. I did some replacement.
650?
660,000.
Wow.
Now, you don't, this is replacement cost coverage, you don't get paid that if there's a total loss. You get paid what it costs to rebuild what you had. So 660 might be a little overkill. I did some replacement cost estimates back in 2019, and I came up with about 306,000. That's 2019. A lot of the numbers changed. Construction costs have gone up a lot since then. I did some more recent ones, and I did come up with, what was that, 450 on that? That was in that email I sent around this afternoon. So I guess what I'm suggesting here, I think the limit that they're offering is probably overkill, more than you need, more than you'd ever get if you had a total loss. But maybe the $346,800 that we have assigned to that building right now, maybe that's a little bit low given how much construction costs have gone up. So I did get a quote to increase ours to 450, I went to 450 in that building. And similarly with the garage building, they had assigned $600,000 for that. I kind of revised my estimate. We were at $331,000, and I kind of revised my calculations on that and came out to somewhere around 370. So I got quotes to increase the garage slash office building to 450, and then also the garage building to 370. Annual additional premium is $99 if you would feel more comfortable doing that.
Is that included in the original price you gave us?
Not in the original price.
And the one you just gave us at
It's the-
22,39?
Nope, that would be additional $99.
Okay.
You know, here's where I should offer a disclaimer. We're not experts in building valuation. We have some software that we use, but it can get us in the ballpark. But again, we're not experts here. I'm just suggesting that maybe the limits are a little lower there. You might want to consider increasing them. And,
And if
I
you
gave
would,
you
it's
quotes to do
additional.
that, so. Pardon me?
And if we would increase it to that, it would be the additional $99.
Correct.
Okay.
So your blanket is at just under 1.4 million, right?
Yeah,
Am I
that's,
reading that right?
yeah, that's the town property, and then of course we have a separate policy that's covered the fire.
Okay.
One nice thing that Continental Western is offering, since you asked, I'll bring it up quick here. The fire department building, the limit that is on the policy, that you see on our proposal for that building is $1,048,500.
Yeah, okay.
Continental Western gives you guaranteed replacement cost on that building. Their program is designed more for fire departments. It covers townships as well, but originally it was designed more for fire departments, so there's a little bit better coverages in some cases for the fire departments. Guaranteed replacement cost, and there's no cap on that, so if it takes $1.4 million to rebuild what you had, they would pay it. Their policy would pay it. So. A couple other differences. Morton Group is offering one policy to cover both the town and the fire department. Right now you have two separate policies. You have two separate liability limits. The fire department has its liability limit, the town has its liability limit. In the Horton Group policy, you have one liability limit for both. They are offering a higher aggregate limit than we are. They're offering $1 million per occurrence limit. I'm talking general liability coverage now. They're offering a $3 million aggregate limit. So the aggregate is simply the cumulative total of all liability claims against you given the policy term. So you can have $1 million for any one, you have $3 million for any all claims against you. If you hit that $3 million aggregate, we could get into the umbrella, but at some point the policy ceases once you exhaust your aggregates. We're offering a $2 million aggregate. 1 million occurrence, 2 million aggregate, but yet we have two separate policies. So you have two of those $2 million aggregates. Depends on where the claims fall, but potentially you have a $4 million aggregate on our policies. And then we have the umbrella on top of that too. Right, another $4 million on the occurrence and another $8 million on the aggregate. So, which they're doing also. There are a few other minor differences, but I think those are some of the big ones. I mean, do you have coverage on that Horton proposal for the Fall Fest, the fireworks, the liquor, serving the alcohol? I don't see it. I would assume if they were offering it, they'd have it there. They'd have to point it out to you. We've got higher limits. We've got on some of the town equipment. If you have a total loss on one of those, you're going to be a lot happier with our policy than you would be with theirs. We've got replacement cost on the town audits, or not designated on the town audits, and they're offering only actual cash value. So it could be a big difference in what you get paid between the two policies. If there's a total loss on the town audits. Any questions?
I have one for John. Do you know if they have Fall Fest in Horton?
Yeah, so, once Cody mentioned that to me, I followed back with Horton, they said that there is currently coverage in there for the liquor, and firework detonation would be an additional charge. She estimated that to be a few $100s.
Well, generally, if you don't see it in writing, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I question whether it's there, but.
What is yours for the extra for the Fall Fest? The total?
Yeah, there's a premium for it. It's about $500. I don't know if I have it in front of me right now, but I've seen it.
Okay.
It's about $500.
So we would go-
But what I'm suggesting is if we had to go out and get a separate policy, or if they had to go out and get a separate
Mhm.
policy to cover those events, it's not gonna be a couple $100. It's gonna be a lot more than that.
Mhm. Mhm.
If their carrier can't do it right
Mhm.
themselves.
Right.
So, I guess the only thing I will close with is, hey, you've been with us since 2016, you know what you have here. I hope you've been happy with the service and the advice that we've given you. Will, if you have a problem, you can be here in 10 minutes. Your Horton Group representatives coming from Waukesha, how long that will take them to get here. And so we certainly appreciate the relationship and we'd like to see it continue. Any questions? Any other questions?
Anybody? All right, thanks.
Okay.
Corey.
Thank you.
All right, so what does the board have to say?
My personal opinion is, if we're gonna take a risk that nothing is gonna happen, then Horton's the way to go. But I mean, for everything that Corey reiterated, I
think I like the fire department deductible.
yeah,
better
I think
Yeah.
that's, my opinion is that the CWG through Marshall Insurance is the way to go.
Plus, I just like the fact that they're here.
Need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the CWG proposal for both the McMillan Fire Department and the Town of McMillan insurance proposals as set forth here.
I second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
What are they gonna add? What was it?
Oh, did you want to add the extra
99?
for $99? Did you want to up that premium? Or
Yeah,
that,
okay, yeah, I'll add to my proposal to add the $99
For
the
the
increased
property increase, right?
Yes.
Okay. Got that, Corey?
I got it. Thank you.
Roll call, vote on that, please.
Do I need to re-second that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Second, again.
Roll call vote, Dan,
I,
Nicole,
Aye.
Dave,
All right.
Carolyn,
Aye.
Deb.
Aye. All right. Thank you, Corey. I suppose you want to check by the end of the year. So we're covered.
Pardon?
I said you want to check by the end of the year, so we're covered.
Yeah, that'd be helpful.
All right, we'll get it to you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's see. Oh, we're gonna have to amend the budget, aren't we, before we do the checks? Correct?
I mean, you can do the checks now if you want.
We're gonna have to amend the
There
budget
will
for
be
the insurance, am I
Budget
correct?
amendment needed now for, on the, I think the general government's gonna come up short, and the fire department will come up short also.
All right, why don't we amend the budget?
I make a motion to move the amended 2023 budget to under insurance renewal discussion.
You kinda gotta do it in order so you don't have to redo it, is what I'm saying.
Right, so move it,
As the next order of business.
yeah, as the next order of business.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
it should be after.
All in favor, say aye.
I,
Opposed, motion carried. All right, let's go through the budget. All right, now what were you saying?
I believe that you'll need some money in general government 51000,
What page?
page 3, right in the middle. And then also on the next page, total 52000, public safety.
Okay, what are we gonna need for general government?
I would think, only like 2,000 on that one.
And for what?
Where you gonna put it?
Probably in the 51938.
5-1 what?
Under
the
insurance?
insurance.
Under the insurance. 51938.
Insurance non-highway fire, what is that?
I believe that would be where I would record this.
Okay, then, so,
Yeah.
So 51938, you're gonna change what now?
He wants an extra 2,000 in the budget for that.
Yeah.
And what is the total cost of that, for that area?
I haven't calculated it out. Last year, 55% of the total premium went to general government and 45% went to highway for the town portion.
Okay,
So that, I mean, $2,000 gives plenty of buffer.
it should put her okay.
So the new budget number would be 5,500? Is that right?
Well, you gotta figure out where you're gonna pull this from first.
Oh,
Yeah.
true.
And then the other one would be the fire department for the difference for the insurance, am I correct?
Yeah.
You're looking at approximately, not quite 3,000 there, right? Because their portion would be 10, 11 roughly?
Their portion is 10.3, so I would say
We put 9 in there.
$3,000 would be the minimum that they would need.
We got 70, just about 7,700.
I'm looking at their total budget, the public safety total line item. You need $3,000 to balance that budget.
Right. What number are you looking at? 5,300, right?
52000, right at the bottom of page 4.
5,200.
Public safety?
Yes, so it shows that they have negative 7696 currently,
Yes.
and they need to pay $10,306 for this premium.
Yeah,
That means that they're under budget.
they're okay as of right now until we go pay insurance. Then they're gonna need an additional $3,000.
Correct.
That's the way I'm reading it. Okay.
Okay, so 10,000 what?
300 would be their insurance.
300, okay.
So they need 3,000 more for theirs.
Yeah.
And 2,000 for,
Okay, so that's $5,000, where are we anticipating that coming from?
I guess I don't understand why we weren't anticipating that.
Yeah, well, that's right.
I guess my recommendation would be to decrease the budget for capital outlay, total 57,000 on page 6, or increase the budget for interest income on page 1, right at the bottom, line item 48100.
That was interest income that was generated on the.
Money
CD.
markets, money markets.
The money markets for the tax savings account, and also, I guess the ARPA is in there also.
There's like 19,000 in
Yeah, so that's probably a combination of ARPA interest, which is contaminated, so you can't use that, but most of it's the tax savings account.
So tell us again what you're doing
You
now.
need $2,000 for insurance under 51938.
Mhm.
And you need $3,000 for insurance for the fire department.
Yeah. So total of 5.
Total of $5,000, and if you took that out of the interest income, I think you'd be pretty safe.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So. Need a motion?
I'll make a motion to move $2,000 into the 51938 account, as well as $3,000 into the, what's the 5 number?
52200-15.
52200-15, in the amount of $3,000, and with that to be rectified with 48,100 interest income. Rectified is not the right word, but I couldn't think of it on my mind. Reconcile, that's it.
There you go.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Dan,
Aye.
Nicole,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Carolyn,
Aye.
Deb.
Aye. All right. Now we can do checks to approve.
Did you guys anticipate that in the 2024 budget? Is that gonna have to be reviewed too?
What's that, insurance? It should have been, but we're not doing 24 tonight.
I know you're not. Solid edge.
Mostly we had a whole lot of payroll, didn't we?
Yeah, you'll see, there's two voided checks in here, the Marathon County clerk check that was approved last time. We had the wrong amount, so that's reissued, it's 19831, that initial one is voided. And then I also had a number of voided checks. I accidentally ran the fire department payroll with the check date being January 12th or whatever, that was the default. So that caused all of the expenses to go into next fiscal year, and I figured nobody would like that. So I had to void all those and then do that payroll. So they're still listed, they begin in 19843, 19842, but I've got those listed and I've got the check stock in here.
Okay, so we had approved the dog tags last time, and that was 19,786. That was what the check number was. So what did it turn out to be?
19785, because that was the alphabetical first one.
And that was when you voided.
Yes.
So did we have to write them a different check somewhere along the line?
Yeah, it's down there, 19831. It's in this check run.
4,072?
$1,072, yes,
Because we had approved 1,170.
correct.
Okay.
Being that that was the gross amount,
Okay.
but we
Oh,
retained,
okay, yeah,
we
then we
retained
gotta
50
keep that,
cents,
yeah.
we didn't look at
Yeah,
that, yeah.
okay, I'm just checking.
That's what it is.
What's the check for Michael and Chelsea's ditching?
Which one number? What's the number?
That's a 19833, that's a tax refund, tax overpayment refund. There's a handful of them in there. 19822 is one of those. 19826,
And those are where the escrow pays it, and
Oh,
then we have to
got it.
refund, am I
Yeah.
correct?
yes.
Yeah, there's gonna be
Oh,
Bunch of
more,
them.
okay.
because what the banks are doing is cleaning it out, giving it all to them instead of paying the bill and then cleaning them. So we end up writing the check.
Well, it's easier for them.
Well, of course, exactly.
The checks you were talking about, those are included in this, Donna?
There's, the refunds,
Yeah,
there's 5 of them.
okay, and they're all listed.
Let's see.
So we would,
19822 is a refund. 19826 is a refund.
Yes,
19829 is a refund.
yes,
19830 is a refund.
Yes.
19833 is a refund.
yes. And if Catherine Carlson may come tonight to grab her check.
So we are actually taking all of the refunds out of 23.
We'll have to add those up and then retain that money.
To be put into 24.
We'll take what we do for refunds and leave that in the budget for 23.
Okay, yeah,
And then reconcile as to how much we have left. We'll just have to move that money. When we clean out the balance of the tax account,
mhm.
we'll have the deposits plus the money for the refunds in there, so that we can get paid out of that instead of,
Because otherwise it's coming out of the 23 checking, the way
Yeah.
you've got it here right
Right.
now.
yeah, well, we have no choice, we have,
Yeah,
yeah.
So
Which is,
we should expect more coming though, next.
oh yes, I
Yeah.
have a half dozen on my desk right
Okay.
now.
Okay.
but you'll make the adjustments for that.
We will.
Okay.
When John gets done with all of his checks and whatever he can do for the board meeting, then we'll make sure that gets moved to proper place. Because you'll have a balance left over in your 23's budget,
Yeah,
so we'll have to,
add these back.
I'm not
to
sure
that.
how to do that, being that we're on
I
a
don't
cash
know.
basis, I don't know how to, I'm not familiar with how to do that. I mean, the cash is leaving now, so that's exactly why I had to void all these checks to the fire department people, because the expense was then, it wasn't in here, it wasn't in this budget to actual, it was, I looked at it, it was as showing as an expense on 24's budget to actual.
Mhm.
So I don't know how to move this expense, how to like put cash back into 2023.
24, from 23, is what you're saying. Because we're actually doing 24 expense on here
Right.
in 23.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how to do
he's talking about his
That-
accounting.
in the accounting, like, I mean,
Not that we can't move it, it'll just show up and, as
You
something.
just gotta figure out how
Maybe
to,
miscellaneous
But-
monies, and we'll have to explain it as miscellaneous monies
Yeah.
or
as of
something.
now, 'cause these expenses are already in here, that caused the general government to go under budget, that's why we needed to move money, so it's already been rectified. So if you just leave it, do nothing, then it's a non-issue.
I don't understand what you mean by do nothing.
So there's already, if you look at line item on page 3, towards the middle, 51910, there's already expense there. All of those checks are already in there.
Okay, for the tax.
Right.
So as a result of all of that stuff, plus all of the prior stuff in the year, general government was under budget by $4,700.
Mm-hmm.
I suggested that we needed $6,700 to pay the insurance. So you've increased that budget for insurance, which is the next one. You've increased that one to $5,500. So now, general government is under budget by $6,758. So after paying the insurance, it will still be under budget.
Mm-hmm. All right, I need to know which checks are all for refunds. John, you can do that?
Yep.
Let's go through that and mark these on here so we know.
Okay.
19822,
Okay,
19826,
okay,
Wait a minute. 26, okay,
19829,
yeah,
19830,
yeah.
that was a healthy one. Who's that?
19833.
Okay.
Okay, got it.
You're talking a little bit more.
Yeah, almost 2 on one.
Yeah, I know, almost $4,000 that should be at the end of 23, and then we're taking that out of there.
3,900.
Yeah. Shit, it's more than that.
Yeah, I was
Anyway.
gonna say.
Yeah.
More than that.
So Donnie, you're gonna make sure that that's all taken care of.
We'll take care of that.
So
We'll
that
leave
total
it to
will
you.
get back,
We'll
put
have-
back on
Yeah.
to 23.
It'll get left in there for 23.
Okay. All right, anybody else have any questions?
Oh, and I will tell you that I received from David Swenson, he's going to reject his Christmas thing, so there'll be, we'll put
He's
that right.
donating it back?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
So it'll just be, I think, voided.
No, you can't void it. He's got to claim it, and then he can sign it and
Well,
give
he
it back.
can, but, because he didn't do anything with it, but
Yeah,
what, I don't care which way he does it, it doesn't matter to me.
because you've already got it in his payroll and everything, correct?
No, his was separate, his was not in payroll, his is just
It's
his.
his put on his
Christmas
payroll.
bun.
It was run through.
Christmas.
payroll.
It's
And
run
I've
on
voided
payroll, but not
I
on
voided-
other checks.
20 checks already today, so.
So if we're voiding one, why won't make a difference? Okay.
20's the limit.
Huh?
20's the limit.
So 21 you can't do. Anyway, we need a motion.
Make a motion to approve the checks 19,785 all the way through 19,856, including the voided checks that are listed, and then also the check for 231,201 and 231,202.
Second.
Anybody got a second on that? John, is that all our payroll taxes for the year then? Okay. And then we're completely correct. Okay. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right. Lori, what do you got for Fall Fest Fund?
The Fall Fest Fund, we had a meeting last night, our monthly meeting. We talked about purchasing the air compressor out of our Fall Fest funds. Because right now, there's $56,829.51 sitting in there. The quotes, I did the quote process. I didn't have to do a bidding process because there's only 2 people who deal with compressors for fire departments, and they have both the exact same specs. The compressor with freight that we'd like to purchase $39,706.83, which leaves $17,122.68 in the Fall Fest account for the startup of 2024 Fall Fest.
Total again was what, 56?
$56,829.51.
Okay.
Compressor cost $39,706.83. So the total left in the Fall Fest account is $17,122.86, which would be our start for 2024.
Okay, you got the email from Marshfield, right? From Marshfield Fire Department. They will charge us $4.50 a tank to fill that.
But it's at their convenience, so if I drop them off, and I have to drop them off during their business hours, 8 to 5.
He said you can drop it off at any time. They might not be able to do it immediately, depending on what's going on there. But he said they would have it done within a day or so and could give a call, pick up. I also talked to Todd from Spencer Fire Department. He said they could fill them up for nothing when they need it.
Well, the group has decided to purchase the compressor out of the Fall Fest funds that are there.
Well, Borders approved that. I'm just saying, that's an awful lot of money when you can get it done for $4.50 a piece if you have to pay for it.
Well, this is what the group has decided to do with Fall Fest funds that we have raised to purchase equipment.
But that was not what the amount,
equipment.
that was not what the amount was originally designated for each Fall Fest Fund, because you would come out and say, this is for this year, this is for this year, and that's not what you're doing at
The
this point.
entire group felt strong enough last night that this is the way to do this. And they all voted on it, they all voted
Explain
unanimous.
why they felt that.
Because we need our compressor system, because we have a rescue vehicle over there that has 6,000 PSI tanks on it. That has to be drained and refilled at least every 6 months. We can't take our Rescue 3 down to the city of Marshfield and leave it sit there for at least 10 hours to fill those 3 bottles. When in this quote, I have a 100-foot piece of compressor hose, so we can go from the compressor right to the tank, and we don't have to take it anywhere. We're doing it ourselves, and I don't even know what they would charge us to fill those 6,000-pound tanks on Rescue 3, or Rescue 1, sorry.
But that should check out then and see what they would charge us.
And when I talked to Jody Clements about this, he said it has to be dropped off during their business hours, 8 to 5.
Mhm.
and they have to be picked up during their business hours at 8 to 5, and they're relooking at the cost of the air bottle fill.
Well, he told me $4.50.
Eric said that, yes, but he didn't talk to the chief before he.
Well, even at $4.50, Pat could run him down there during his work hours. And he can get into the fire department without an issue, because he's part of the fire department. He goes down and gets gas in that little red truck in the morning, run it over there if you need it done. I think your cost is just so high for what it would compare to running it down there and getting it done. I mean,
Are you gonna reimburse, if I have to do it, are you gonna reimburse me my vacation time for my full-time job?
I
Gas in my
didn't say he
vehicle,
would
wear and
have
tear
to
on
do
my
it, I
vehicle?
said Pat could do it when he's working.
On the street side.
He goes downtown in the morning and he gasses up the truck. If you need it done, he could grab those tanks and go drop them off.
Well, the group has decided to purchase the compressor with this Fall Fest money. It's been talked about, agreed upon. Anybody who was at the meeting last night, agreed upon it. And our understanding of Fall Fest funds is we can spend it on equipment we feel necessary, and we feel this is necessary at this
As
time.
long as the board approves it. The board has to approve that.
Well, and the board is responsible for representing.
The board doesn't have anything to do with Fall Fest funds. That is the fire department money.
That's correct.
That is the fire department money. I'm
I'm
saying this
that
is what we're
we can
spending it
get
on.
this done a whole lot cheaper. This, in my opinion, is a large cost for
But we-
something that we can get done a
We as
whole
a
lot
fire department
cheaper.
prefer to do it this way, because when we do rate checks, all bottles need to be topped off also. So we're gonna run 10 bottles down there just to be topped off to like 45, and we're sitting at 43. And pay the $4.50 for that?
Still cheaper than
That's not feasible for us.
$39,706.83.
It's still the fire department's money, they've generated the funds with their efforts and taxpayer.
It's not the fire department's money.
That is not money.
It's town money.
No, it is
No.
No,
not.
this fire
Wait,
department.
wait.
It's town money.
No,
Look
it
it
is
up, it's
not.
the law. Any money they make in fundraising, it
Madam
becomes
Chair?
township money.
I was talking.
Do you want to make a motion? Somebody, did you discuss
Make
it?
your motion.
I'm gonna make a motion so you can discuss it.
I'll move that the fall festival, expend $39,706.83 out of the fall festival, leaving them startup money at $17,122.86 for the startup for next year, if they decide to do it. And if you don't, you gotta support it. That is not taxpayers' dollars that are generated. That's the action. That's what those individuals do. I've done it for 40 years.
Is this
We
part
need
of
a
your
second
motion?
on your motion.
Second.
Okay, now we can get into discussion. John, I have a question. Does that have to be put out for bids?
That's my understanding.
No, it does not.
Where's your
No,
paperwork?
it's the,
It
no,
does
you're
not,
not,
because this
your
is not
state
a-
statutes.
This is not attached to the building. It's
It
freestanding in
wasn't
the fire
before.
station.
I don't know why it's gotta be such a bone of contention. I really don't.
We have to follow the law. If it has to be
The
put
law
out for bids.
says that there are certain
Where's the
things.
paperwork that says we don't have to put it out for bids?
Yes, there is. You
Where
find-
is it?
Well, I'll find it for you. I don't have it right now.
Is this
But I
something?
got it. I pulled all that up. If there are, it is in the state statutes that there are some things that you do not have to put out for bids.
I know that.
Mainly big machinery.
Is this something we have to insure?
Of course.
And is Fall Fest one's gonna pay for that insurance?
Wouldn't
Or is that
wouldn't the
taxpayer?
insurance be covered under the building insurance?
It would
Yeah,
be.
that's
You would
Yeah,
hope.
it would be under the
As,
building.
as
And
would a
contents.
furnace or some other immovable object?
Right underneath.
But it's not attached to the building.
It's
Yeah,
a-
yeah.
No, I
But it's
mean,
not a
no,
revenue.
I'm just saying that because
It is.
I get there's a,
Dynamics.
yes, good way.
We're raising funds to give back to the community for the betterment of the community.
That's not the question. Do we have to put this up for bids? That's the question.
My
Because if we
understanding is
do,
no, because there's
and-
only 2 companies in the state who work with these air compressors, and I sent them both the exact same specs for the air compressors.
And we've seen neither one. All we're going by is,
Last time we talked about this, I had specs all written up. And these specs were given to both companies that I reached out to, because they're the only 2 companies who do with these compressors.
Right, I don't think the question is whether or not you did it right or not. I think the question is, does it need to be
put out for bids.
publicly advertised?
That can happen after.
If we have to do that, I'm not gonna be able to lock this price in on this compressor.
It says bid.
You need to
If
find
you use
out
the term
from,
bid, you have to bid it. It has to, if you use the word bid,
You gotta put
you
this
have to,
out.
it has to be competitively bid, sealed, you go with the lowest responsible bidder.
And I didn't ask for bids, I asked for quotes.
Let's compressor bid on the top of this.
that's the way, that was.
When I wrote it out to that, I had that written up last year, when you guys, when we were talking about this, and you said I had to come up with a bid description, and that's what that is. What I sent to them is everything in there except for the top part that says bid. I said, can I have a quote on this specification of an air compressor?
John, I need you to check on that and see if we have to put this up for bids.
Yeah, I did.
And you were told
In
yes.
August of '22, I have a long correspondence with Carolyn Milwaukee from Wisconsin Town Association, and it says, my question was, our fire department needs a new air compressor. They have received a quote of $30,000 plus. So I said, do we need to bid this out? And she said, I'm not sure what you mean by air compressor, period. Is this a standalone piece of equipment that can be moved from place to place, or is it something that gets permanently installed like a furnace? If it's going to be installed as a building feature, you need to bid it out and do the Class 2
But
notice.
it's not, right?
It's not.
No, it's personal, it's not.
If it's just equipment, you do not need to bid it out and can just have the board to
And
vote
it's-
to
and
buy
it's
it from wherever
equipment.
they want at a
Yes.
properly noticed board meeting.
And it's equipment.
It is equipment, I mean, I
Yes,
feel that.
it's equipment.
No, it's not equipment. It's a part of that building. It's a high-pressure air compressing system, and you're not gonna move that around. Nobody moves those around.
Is it the compressor, or is it the piping within the building?
It's not attached to
It's
the.
not attached to
It's not
anything.
attached.
Compressor.
Right. So they
So-
could easily,
Yeah.
if you upgraded that building,
Mhm.
you could easily move it into the
Oh,
second building.
absolutely,
Right.
absolutely.
That's the definition of
Absolutely.
personal.
Then they should have said, they should use the money, because it really is our money. This is a volunteer fire department. So they get paid for part of what they do, but if it's volunteer, that means you do it for free. That's what isn't that what a volunteer means, Mr. Gatto?
I'm not.
Isn't that what a volunteer fire department, or any volunteer organization is?
I'm not arguing with you, man.
Okay, so these people, they don't have a right to be able to determine where the money goes. If they want to put it into something in the fire department, the town has the right to say, we don't need to expend that much money. You have a bunch of things over there that either need to be repaired, because they've got a bunch of stuff up for repair. There are pumps that have had problems that cost a gazillion dollars to be able to fix. This is the kind of place where it should go. But to put in a system because it's convenient is insane.
The Fall Fest funds were not established to supplement our budget by paying for repairs on vehicles. The Fall Fest funds were established to purchase needed equipment for the fire department that the town cannot afford. That's what
This
it's
fire
for.
department does not belong to the firefighters.
Okay, but here's the state statute. If we have an ordinance that states that they have a Fall Fest fund, this gives the municipality fire department emergency at 6606, 660608, letter B. Having this ordinance, that this gives the municipality's fire department, emergency medical services practitioner department, or emergency medical responder department through the official or employee described under paragraph 1, and that is who they designate as their treasurer. They have exclusive control over the expenditure of volunteer funds of the department for which the individual that is serving as they can provide those out of that account in an account described under here. The account is described as it authorizes a particular official or employee of the municipality's fire department, emergency medical services practitioner department, or emergency medical responder department to deposit volunteer funds of the department for which the individual serves as an official, or whoever their treasurer or their chief, in an account in the name of the fire department, emergency medical services practitioner department, or emergency medical responder department in a public depository.
So where does it take the authority for the board to regulate that money away?
Well, okay, back up just a second. All she just said with that, what she just read, is it gives them the authority to deposit the money. It doesn't say you can spend it.
That's
That's
exactly right. I'm reading the state statute.
Right, so it doesn't give them the right to spend it, it gives them the right to
Gives them the right
deposit
to
it.
deposit it. That's it. That's all you just read.
It gives them exclusive control over the expenditure of volunteer funds of the department. That means they have the authority to expend it in its way that they see fit. And that money goes to the good of the township. That money is equipment that is then given to us as a township, that equipment. That's the way it's always been, it's the state statutes.
Does that mean that they don't even have to come to the board, they just go off and buy it if they want to?
That's what it says
We
at all.
always come to the board and let them know what we want to spend our Fall Fest funds on and the dollar.
Still the board's final say.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
but if they voted on it, they have voted on it.
But we haven't.
But the
And we
board
have,
is
so
not,
we'll
they're not
either
part of the
say
board,
yes or no.
they're not elected, they're not determined by us.
They
We
don't even let
elect the
township,
board.
half of them.
Well, are you gonna fight the state statutes?
I'm just saying.
You know, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Of course you don't.
I don't get what you're saying.
No, I was always told,
All right, enough. Let's call the question.
Sharon, I got a question.
Call the question.
Butch, he has a question.
I got a question. You know, when I was
You're
on
not
the
the
board,
chair, I am.
you know, I went to a lot of classes. And one of the classes was when the Fall Fest does want to raise money for whatever they need, they have to designate it to the board. It had to be designated what they're raising
what
the
I said
money
before.
for. But this, she's saying that they talked about it, it wasn't designated for that. So I
Every
don't-
year they were supposed to, whatever money they were
So
going to
in-
raise.
It's been
20
designated for the last 3-4 years.
Yes.
Officially, it was?
Yes, it
Yes.
was.
To the board?
Yes, it
Okay.
was.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. It was.
Yes.
I think you talked correspondence.
20,000 of it was, am I correct?
20,000 was,
Yes.
and then we put 30,000 capital outlay, but I'm not allowed to use the capital
No.
outlay to purchase this.
No.
So we've come up with alternate funding for it. And everybody who's involved in Fall Fest and the fire department agreed with it last night. Said, this is what we want to do.
Who was at the meeting?
What's that?
Who was at the meeting?
I had at least 8 or 9 firefighters there.
Okay, I think I'll make myself clear. Who was at the meeting?
Well, it was myself, Rod, Adam Knapp, Pat Weigel, you had Dylan Weigel, Tyson Bloom.
Firefighters, all
They're all
firefighters.
firefighters on the fire department, and they were involved in Fall Fest.
I only heard 4 names, I think, or 5 names. Who was there?
6.
And there were a couple more, I can't remember who they are, because I can't remember everybody. When I'm the chief trying to organize a meeting and run the meeting, they sign in on a sheet, it's given, and I can just tell you the faces I remember seeing.
All I can say is, for me personally, is this the best way to spend the money?
Yes.
You know what I mean, with everything that you have over there, like, everything, that this is, and I'm hearing things where it costs $5 to fill a bottle, but we want to spend $40,000 to replace this. So those are big number differences. So I'm not for any one side. I'm just trying to understand the finances of it. And that is your biggest need.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Okay?
Because when other fire departments come to our fires, we fill their bottles out of our air compressor. Otherwise, they have to go back to their township with empty
What do
air
we charge them?
compressors. We don't charge them anything because it's a Mavis call. And that's included in all of encompasses the whole Mavis call.
But if we didn't do that,
If we didn't do that, we would be sending fire departments back home to Wausau and Abbotsford with empty tanks. And if they get a call in between here and there, they have no air to use because we expended all of it and we didn't replace it.
That's charges.
When did the fire departments become a separate entity from the rest of the town of McMillan? I mean, it makes absolutely 0 sense to me to spend that kind of money on this, what you're talking about, and where they decide, where ignore it totally, you guys might as well go home, don't need all 5 of you. Let them decide what they want. And that makes no sense. You're pissing away a lot of money. She did the math.
No, that was
It'll take
at
102
50,000.
years.
That was when they wanted the $50,000 rate.
And what?
That was the other one, the 49,000 or whatever she came up with.
It's gonna take you forever to
Cost
get
back.
back, the money for that. And I guess the big issue I have is, where do you guys, as fire department, figure you run the town of McMillan? Now, I asked your husband when me and him that, call to God meeting outside, and I asked him about that, and he never said a word. Because that's the way it seems, that you guys want to run everything yourselves.
Donna?
It doesn't seem right. To me, it is
Person is
right.
back there.
We don't run the department. I, as chief, run the fire department, and this is what the group has decided to do with our Fall Fest funds that we have raised. This has not been a big secret. We've known this, that we've needed this for the last at least 3 years. It was in the budget one year, it got cut. We did an AFG grant, because some numbers weren't right with the township, we got denied. I did another grant, and we got denied. So this is our alternative to get this compressor at the fire station, so we can fill our bottles and take care of our people like we're supposed to. And it's a safety issue because we don't have the correct containment unit over there to fill the air bottles, and this will fix it.
hey Lori,
Yes, sir.
what, if you had to, like a rough estimate, like if you took similar townships,
Mhm.
is it 50%, is it 70%, is it 90% of those volunteer fire departments that have this compressor?
100% of the volunteer fire departments have a compressor in their station.
Okay, that's good enough.
No.
And it's been on the budget for how many years?
At least 3 years.
How old is this one?
I can't even tell you. All I know is it is not
It's older than you.
doing its job. It's older than me.
And it needs to be replaced. It's like
Correct.
anything else. Man Road needs to be replaced. Capital improvements gotta be taken, and we ratcheted the mill rate down, and here we are. We were sitting shuffling numbers,
Well, at least we're
and so
but the mill rate down is not quite as much wasteful spending this way.
well, that's maybe somebody's
Okay, so we have a motion and we have a second.
Yes, we do. Roll call vote.
Was the second by Carolyn? Is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Roll call vote, Dan,
Aye.
Nicole,
Nay.
Dave,
Aye.
Carolyn,
Aye.
Deb.
No. All right, now we've got engine repairs.
The engine has to go in to have the pump packing replaced and also the pump to tank valve redone. And that's estimate is $9,287.11.
That's gonna be for 2024,
Correct.
so you have enough in your budget?
Yeah.
Sure as hell hope so, because you guys took out $30,000 basically for this last year.
Some of that was insurance covered and all we had off and that was our deductible.
Where's the insurance check? Did that come in yet?
We haven't gotten the bill from FAE yet for this. And I have a call into them to get the bill to us ASAP so we can get it over to the insurance company. And they told me they were gonna direct bill the insurance company minus our deductible.
So how much is it gonna cost the town? You just said 9,000 something?
For the engine, yeah, because this isn't an insurance thing.
So,
This is just maintenance and repairs that need to be done. Because that engine is 25 years old. And according to NFPA standard, we're only supposed to push them 10 years before we get a new.
what is the total bill on the repairs for that fire truck that you're coming up with?
For the engine,
Whatever one we've been putting.
the ladder truck,
Yeah. Now, this is engine 10 repairs, is that the same thing you were talking about? This is a
this
different
is a
truck?
different truck.
This is the
different vehicle.
1999 Pierce pumper.
Correct.
So this is $9,000 and this is not an insurance claim, or this is?
No, it's not.
Okay.
The
So-
ladder truck is, part of that dollar amount is insurance claim.
Okay, so the total on that
So
is
the
how much?
total amount that we have out of our budget coming out of there is roughly $17,000. The rest of it is covered by the insurance claim,
With the deductible,
minus our deductible.
2,500 for the deductible.
Correct.
Mhm.
So add that back in.
Well, yeah. So this is an additional 9,000 for, what are we repairing on there?
It's pump packings, and it is also the pump tank valve on the truck.
Okay, so ladder truck's back and that's done,
Correct,
right?
yep.
And this one is a totally new one.
Correct.
And you're gonna have enough in your budget because there is really no other place to be grabbing money this next year. Because like I said, there was an awful lot that you went over, I mean, you went over.
I didn't have any control over that because that was stuff that had to be fixed.
Yeah, but
I didn't
still,
have any control over that.
need a motion.
What's the budget for, sorry,
What's budget for what?
engine 10 for 2024?
We don't have that in front of us at all.
I don't know if John had it, but I don't know.
Sure, I can forward it.
While he's looking at that, I have a question. Where does the 30,000 go that is in capital outlay?
That was disappear, whatever we have left in checking.
Well, that balanced everything else, so if there's 30,000 left in the
That'll
checking.
go on man, I believe. Any money that we've had left over at the end of the year has always went to,
Well, there has to be at least 30,000 because you budgeted 30,000
Right.
and nobody's touched that.
yeah,
And you won't let her use it for capital outlay, so where,
that'll end up going on man, would be my guess.
but it's designated for fire department.
So you want that on top of everything else we've covered for you?
No, but some of the expenses can go, come out of there, I would think. No?
Well, that's for 24 that she's talking, and he's just looking to see what she's got
That's gonna
for
come out of 24 or 23?
24.
The engine,
Yeah,
The repairs for engine, yeah.
out of 2024.
Okay.
that's what she just said. That's why we were checking to see how much he's got in there.
The line for engine 10 says $4,000. The total for public safety is 192,369.
Because you went up, what, 10% from last year?
Mhm.
So,
Because we had originally planned on fixing the engine in 2023, but with the ladder truck going the way it did, I made the decision as chief that it would be taken out of 2024, and that's when it will be fixed.
okay.
Because I was not gonna put this in the 2023 budget on top of everything the ladder
Yeah,
truck.
because there's no money there to do it. I mean, you're over budget. You got,
So I made the call as chief to put this off until 2024. And the only reason we're talking about it now is because they wanna take it down the first week in January to start working on it, and you don't have a board meeting before that.
And how long will it take them, do they, like, you're gonna be gone without it for 2
A
weeks,
week.
a month? Oh,
A week, and then our ladder truck has a pump on it, and that will become our frontline pumper until we get this one back.
and how much was it again, 9,000 what? Sorry, I only wrote down 9.
$9,287.11.
And that includes labor, parts, everything?
Yep, I had them quoted out with labor. The only thing they don't have on here is freight, because they won't know that until they get the part shipped in.
Okay.
John, how much did you say that they have budgeted for it?
4,000 something.
$4,000.
But like you said, we planned this coming out of 2023, but with the ladder truck going the way it was, I decided to push it
Yeah,
off.
there's no carryover for.
But
So you have to find 5,300 from some other line item.
Basically, yeah.
I can do that. That's-
Yeah. I need a motion.
I make a motion to approve the engine 10 repairs.
Out of the 2024 budget.
Oh, the 2024 budget. Thank you.
Need a second.
I'll second it.
Roll call vote on that one.
Dan? Aye. Nicole?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
Carolyn?
Aye.
Deb?
Aye. And now we're down to year-end transfers. What do you got, Donna?
Okay, let's talk about the bank first. So we put it in free to see what they could do for us for the money markets. She did get back to me today, and she said we need to handle this by the end of the year, so it's gonna be a quick turnaround. They'll go to 4%, we're currently at 3%. So they'll go to 4% on our monies for the highway, ARPA, and also we have money market on the tax account. So we'll be getting more there. So she will do that, and whatever, we've got the holdover from last year for like 308,000, whatever it was, I don't have that in front of me. And then whatever you have left over, if you can get me a number before the end of the year, we'll combine those two and
What do we got?
put it in one, or we can leave it right in the tax account where it is right now. We can leave it and we have it earmarked, that's what was left over.
I'd like that transferred, I think, and then.
And make another money market.
Yes.
Yeah, 4%, so that would be 4%.
On the 308 and then what's ever left.
Which bank are we doing now?
That's the list that she did. And for the CDs, she could go a little bit higher on a CD, but it's a required 1 year. I told her we would probably be able to do that, I don't know when the man, to get manned on when that would be, we would need that back out. So I kind of told her that would be nice, because that's like closer to 5. But I think we're really doing good with the money markets the way they are. So if you're okay with that, then that's what
I got
we'll
one
do.
comment. They transferred and signed for 200,000 to get 5%.
Yes, but that's personal.
Oh,
Businesses,
It's
Is it business? Well, she told me that they can't do that with this money. It has to stay local, one, it has to stay local because it's tax funds. And they can't do it. They can go to, they'll give us 4, but they can't go to the other one because of the funds. If you wanna go down and argue, you go for it, but that's what she
Just
said.
saying.
And ARPA, is that what gonna be for?
That will also be at 4 until we need it.
Is there a deadline on that, Art?
You mean
ARPA
as
has
far
to be
as,
used by the end of this year,
Yeah.
yes.
or
But
end of,
it'll get-
not this year,
It'll be
2024.
effective the day that I go down and talk.
Huh?
You look cool going at the end of this year yet.
Well, we're
So-
gonna be.
So
using
by
ARPA.
Friday, I will have to commit.
Well, we're gonna be shuffling funds is what it's gonna be, because the ARPA funds cannot go with the grant,
Yep.
okay? So what we're gonna end up doing is shuffling funds for doing road maintenance and that type of thing, so it'll work. So, what are you anticipating we're gonna have at the end of the year? What's in the checking? You should be able to tell me that.
Yeah, so as of today, the checking account has $99,253 in it.
And that's what taking off the current checks?
No.
So you gotta take 50,000 off of there, yeah?
Yes,
So then what will it be at?
So 99,253,
yeah, so
and then you take 48.
$48,000.
Okay. Is there anything left in the tax account?
We still have to pay, is that taken off the insurance for 20?
Not yet.
Okay.
Is there anything left in the tax account? Or did you transfer that already?
No, we couldn't do that yet. No, it's still there
All right.
because of the other monies in it. Yeah, no, I haven't done anything with it except let it ride until we got direction tonight on what kind of interest and what you want to do with that, because that leftover from 22 is in there.
Mm-hmm.
So now there'll be that one and whatever ends up being the balance left over from this year will go together in
With the
one.
308. right?
Yes,
Yep.
yes, so, and if, he's at 48, and then there's what, 20,000 for the insurance, 22? So we're around 26,000 left
Came to
approximately.
22,238.83.
Tell me what it is, 22,000.
$22,238.83.
Now, I'll just tell you that will probably go up a little bit because we have interest for the month of December.
Okay.
So there might be, the number might be just a little bit different, but she'll figure that out for me when I go down there. Yeah,
So whatever the balance is,
yeah,
okay.
so somewhere around 300, we had 308, now we got another, so 330.
Plus what's left in the tax savings account.
Yes, and that, there won't be a lot in there, because
No.
you should be pretty much nothing left in there, because, that's the purpose of a budget, and that you kind of take.
Well, I know
out.
we had left it in there because of the interest we were drawing, so
Yep,
then
you
you
moved
pull
some of
it out of there.
$308,000 is left in the tax account.
How much?
$308,000, that money is in the
Yeah,
tax savings.
That's
account.
still in there, yes, from last year, that's still in
And
there.
that'll be transferred out, and then we'll have about 26,000
From
left.
this year's leftover, the
Yeah.
checking account,
Yeah,
that's about what you're gonna have. So
Yeah,
we'll do
so-
the best we can.
so that 30,000 capital outlay,
Well, I don't think she was asking for all of it, but,
I'm just saying, it's gone, it's not there.
well, there's 22,000.
22,000 of it right now,
Yeah.
well,
I don't know what he has for bills. I don't know what else is there, but with your permission, I will make that happen, and I have to make it happen by Friday.
yeah. We need a motion for Donna to make necessary transfers and put into
A money market,
money market accounts, and she'll have a balance for us then at our next board
Yes.
meeting.
I make the motion to move money into the appropriate money market accounts, which does include opening a new account for the ARPA funds.
no, it's the leftover funds from
Oh,
last year.
Leftover funds from last year, sorry.
22s and 23s.
Thank you. So amend what I said to that.
Yeah.
So we need a second? Anybody?
We need a second.
I'll second that for discussion. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
We need a motion to adjourn.
I just had one thing, I had the preliminary printout for the recycling is reforming. The entire recycling is April 27th, 2024 at Pankratz Trucking again. No large truck or tractor tires are accepted. And you need a ready ID card, so we'll get a request or a newsletter out, that has to go in there.
So you're not taking tires, tractor tires at all?
No, that was the
Yeah.
decision,
Okay.
because we lost.
Yeah, no, it's a good idea, yeah.
Friday when I went home, I noticed that Larry Scheuer at his home had 2 garbage and 2 recycle. Do you know anything about that? I'm just wondering if one was meant, can you check for us? Because that's not on his bills. That's my point. So,
Maybe you took it from,
well, I'm thinking maybe he got one over at that, what used to be a mobile home there. I don't know where they came from, not a clue. But I just noticed them. And if
So
I
we
need,
got 2 recycling and 2 garbage?
yes, at the end of his driveway. I just happened to be here on Friday and went by them, saw them, and I'm like, I don't know.
George,
What dollar amount did you say was gonna be left over at the end of this year?
we're not quite sure yet. About 26,000 in checking, and then we'll have some, there's a little bit left in the tax savings account that'll be transferred, plus we got 308,000 from last year, yeah, so.
Yeah, there's some interesting stuff there that hasn't.
Well, yeah, but the 308 was a carryover from last year.
Right.
So it's
Right.
basically, what everyone wants to know is exactly what we had for this year.
Well, 26,000, because we have to pay, and whatever is left in the tax savings. That's, and we don't have that in front of us because we don't know what the interest is, and that'll be transferred by the end of the month.
Planning
Which is it.
Commission gives up anything extra we had.
What's that?
Planning Commission gives up anything extra we had. For roads.
You're probably over budget, come on.
Can I make a comment? George, you asked, before we adjourn, you asked about when did the fire department become a separate entity?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be.
I know it shouldn't be, but it
It
is.
should not be, and it isn't. But only in the eyes of some has it been separated.
Well, I tell you what, why don't you explain that to the fire chief and the fire department over there? Because they think they are, believe it.
All right, we need a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're
Okay, it's done with. Carolyn, sooner or later, this township is gonna come to the realization that this fire department is one major money drain. That's all that is over there. The money you guys got left over at the end of the year, ship it over there and they can piss it away for you. Guaranteed. The junk that they got for trucks, they ought to get rid of, take the saw, scrap the shit off.
Well, anyway, you know, you've seen them at work. We
I
need-
what?
You've seen the fire department at work, you know, we need a fire department. You can't hire it out cheaper. We tried.
I'll bet money you can.
Well, and I tried, and I wasn't able to do it. And the other thing is, you know,
When was
we didn't
that?
make the laws. It's the legislators have made, our state statutes have made it. They're the ones that write this stuff, but we have to try and follow it, and that's all.
Can I sign those, please, so I can?
You want a couple?
That's it.
No. Board, please stay for your paychecks.
I mean,
Joe?
Sign the check.
I would.
We
we need to be a
this one.
community, a good community. Where respect is.
You're talking to me?
I was having.
Oh,
a
yeah.
conversation.
You gotta talk louder, I'm hard of hearing. Yeah.
I don't know how.
I'm just telling you that
Yeah.
the fire department is one big money drain. That's what it all is. For what we're getting out of the deal, it ain't worth it.
Yeah, if
And
I,
I would bet you the contract.
Yeah, I'll run through.
I can't hear what you're saying.
It's gotta be postmarked, right, for the first.
I would bet, if you got a whole, there's gotta be a reason that the other town can contract out. With Stratford, Stratford has.
I'll take it out.
Yeah, you got people that way.
I'll
There's gotta be a
for that, so
reason.
I'll take it down.
He's very good. Just somebody that doesn't buy,
Huh?
very
Done
good.
that for years.
But what you.
I know that, and there's gotta be a reason, there's gotta be cheaper than
Just over
But it is,
And all of that.
we have more value
There's all
than
of that,
that.
there's come up with
Well, we tell you what.
Have a good New Year, everybody.
Oh, okay.
Dan, hold on a second.
Okay, I'll give you them. Absolutely.
I know you live, eat, breathe, fire department, that's wonderful. Hats off, and I'll tell you what, the fire department used to be a pretty decent operation, I always thought, back in the day. It ain't no more. As far as I'm concerned, that's my opinion, I have it on the track of mine, and I'm telling you, right. You know.
That was fire department friendly. Rod made that announcement at the board meeting. Yep. Yes, he did. So I decided not to be.
Bruce,
I donated thousands.
have you been to the Y this week?
Yes, I did. I was there this morning.
Me too.
You must not have been doing anything. Although, maybe you get there kind of late. What time do you get there?
Well, the kids aren't in school right now, so it was like 4:45.
Not fire department friendly.
I was there 4:45,
Oh, I don't
and
know.
I didn't leave until about 10 to 8.
Well, we must have missed each other.